Feels like it's in the 90s, and I actually think there will be some towns out west that hit the 90s today. But then severe storms become our issue. That really doesn't get going until late afternoon at the earliest, and more than likely this evening is when these storms really come together. There's 6 o'clock. You can see heavy rain, maybe even some hail developing. Anytime you see that pink on the future radar, that's an indication the storm is strong enough to produce hail. And that continues through late tonight. There's 10 o'clock, finally starting to move out after midnight tonight. But most of Minnesota, western Wisconsin, under that same slight risk of severe weather, which is a little bit of a misnomer. That means we'll see scattered severe storms, about a 50% chance you'll see severe storms in your town if you're under that yellow shaded area. Okay, if you've been on the internet for the last 24 hours, you might have heard that James Holzhauer's incredible Jeopardy streak ended yesterday. Here's the moment it happened.
9. So, Emma, it's up to you. If you came up with the correct response, you're going to be the new Jeopardy champion. Did you? You did. What did you wager? Oh, gosh, 20,000. What a payday. We're going to say goodbye to James, too. We'll be seeing him again. Takes him to 20.
So after 32 straight wins, Jeopardy James takes the L. Racked up more than $2 million, but finished just 58,000 shy of Ken Jennings' record from 2004. I mean, just reading the internet, it seemed like people were genuinely rooting for this guy, which I don't think is normally the case in other competitions. I think most folks root against dynasties like the Warriors and the Patriots, but not Holzhauer. People were rooting for this guy. So I want to know, were you? Why or why not? Did you want to see him keep winning? If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, leave a comment and we'll hear your thoughts coming up in about 3 minutes. It's day 2 of President Trump's visit to the UK. The president met with outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May this morning. Both leaders are expected to hold a joint news conference in about 10 minutes. Trump has been critical of how May handled Brexit. Also right now, major protests are taking place against Trump's visit to London. Today marks 30 years since the Tiananmen Square massacre in China. The country is actively censoring any mention of what happened on this day in 1989. Hundreds of people were killed as Chinese tanks crushed pro-democracy protesters in the heart of Beijing. Human rights activists plan to rally in Washington today. The man who threw a young boy over the balcony at the Mall of America will spend at least 12 and a half years behind bars. Emmanuel Aranda admitted to going to the mall in April looking for someone to kill. In court yesterday, Aranda listened to impact statements, including from the parents of the 5-year-old he chose at random.
We will live our lives to the fullest, filled with fun and joy. You chose to waste your life, and I wish you could experience the pain and suffering you inflicted on my boy. Your act was evil and selfish. You chose to listen to the worst parts of yourself that day.
A family spokesperson said the parents are concentrating on their son's recovery and chose not to attend the sentencing. A loss for the Vikings could be a huge win for the Gophers and really the entire Big Ten Conference. ESPN is reporting that Vikings COO Kevin Warren is expected to be named the new commissioner of the Big Ten this morning at 11 o'clock. Warren would become the first black commissioner of a Power 5 conference. He's been with the NFL for 21 years, the last 14 with the Vikes. Minnesota's capital city wants to put on a friendlier face. A new hospitality program downtown is up and running. They are called the St. Paul Street Team. You'll see these folks in blue coats. The hospitality and cleanliness ambassadors were launched by the Downtown Alliance.
I think the program presents like a real positive for people who just don't know where to go. And then you can see the colors, and it's like it's easy to go up to a person and ask, and you don't feel like you're asking a stranger, I guess.
The Alliance hopes by making downtown cleaner and safer, that'll attract more employers and residents. Hospitality team is also bringing with them music and art. Speaking of music, Jay-Z is now a billionaire, the first billionaire rapper, according to Forbes. The rapper is also a fashion trendsetter, a streaming music mogul, a sports management company owner, and most importantly, Mr. Beyonce Knowles. 5 years ago, Dr. Dre claimed he was hip-hop's first billionaire after he sold Beats Music, but it's estimated that taxes nudged him just below the $1 billion club. Most of Jay-Z's money actually comes from a champagne company he has that sells Ace of Spades champagne for like $300 a bottle, not just music. All right, let's get back to today's talker. James Holzhauer's streak as Jeopardy champion ended after 32 wins yesterday, falling just short of Ken Jennings' record from 2004. I was struck by how it seemed like everyone was rooting for this guy, kind of opposite to how we normally treat teams or athletes that win all the time. Maybe this is just me as a Patriots fan lashing out. I wanted to see what you thought about this one. Our digital guy Cole is here to read the thoughts of the internet. Cole, what are people saying?
Just had to bring up the Patriots, didn't you?
I had, we've won 6 times.
There you go. We have Annette saying, yes, I was hoping he was going to set a new high record. He's really smart. We have Laura saying, always cheering for others. Awesome job. Bravo. We have Wes saying, I was rooting for him. I was hoping to see how much he would have won if he had won 74 games like Ken Jennings.
Yeah, so he ended up winning like $2.4 million. About half of that goes to taxes. Yeah. Dana said he was cheering for him on Twitter because he was a good, positive guy, never cocky or annoying, seemed very genuine and ended games on specific amounts of his kids' birthdays. His stories about telling his grandma he'd be on the show someday was pretty endearing. And then Tom saying, it's complicated. I want him to keep winning because I always want people to become legendary, but I also want to focus on Trebek as he marches admirably through his cancer diagnosis. So
very nice.
A couple of things to watch for there. And, you know, it's always cool when you have a winner because more people pay attention, right? Yep. Like, if you weren't watching Jeopardy, maybe this guy was a reason to watch.
Builds a little hype.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that is it for now. This is the 7:34 from WCCO, time when the Twin Cities are on the go. If you haven't already made us your home for mobile news, please do. We'll be back here tomorrow at 7:34. Until then, be nice to each other on the internet.